What's up guys, David here, and in this quick video I'm going to show you how to SIM unlock the iPhone 7. It's worth noting that this method also works for the iPhone 7 Plus and pretty much any other iPhone out there. So the first thing you're going to want to do is turn off Find My iPhone, which you can do by going into the settings, then iCloud, then Find My iPhone, and then flip the switch to the off position. Once you've done that, go back to the home screen and open up the dialer and dial *#06# to bring up your iPhone's IMEI number. Write this number down and make sure that you get it right, as you're gonna need it later. The next step is to get the unique unlock code that your phone needs from an unlocking service, and soon enough you'll get an email that looks something like this, telling you that your iPhone 7 has been unlocked. And from here, all you have to do is enter in an unaccepted SIM card. So basically any SIM card that isn't from the carrier your phone is locked to. So in my case, since the phone is locked to AT&T, I'll enter in a T-Mobile SIM card, and then all you have to do is connect the phone to Wi-Fi, and that's it. Your iPhone will be officially unlocked.
If you haven't heard, Apple's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are finally here, but should you upgrade? Well, today we're comparing the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus to the new iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and starting out with design, well, it'll be hard to tell the difference between any of these phones. Being an S-cycle, Apple has left last year's design alone and just added a simple mark on the back side to let you know which one the upgraded model is. But if you really want people to know you have the new iPhone, your best bet is to pick up the new rose gold color variation, which is only available on the 6s models this year. If rose gold isn't your thing, you can easily change things up and make it your own with a custom D-brand skin like I have, and if you want to pick one up for yourself, I will leave a link below for you. In the hand, you may notice something different with the 6s and 6s Plus. These new models are actually slightly thicker and heavier than the previous models due to the new display technology and build, which we'll get into a bit later. While the technology behind the display has changed, Apple has decided to leave the resolution alone. On the iPhone 6 and 6s, we have a 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 1334 by 750 at 326 pixels per inch. Over on the 6 Plus and 6s Plus, we have a 5.5-inch display with a 1920 by 1080 resolution at 401 pixels per inch. And based on the design, screen size, and resolution, there's hardly a difference here, but let's dig a little deeper. Apple's S models are all about refinement, and there's been quite a bit of that going on in this department. First off, Touch ID has been drastically improved. The setup process is identical between the two, but it's twice as fast this year, and the difference is definitely noticeable. As for specifications, Apple's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are rocking dual-core 1.8 GHz A9 processors with 2 GB of RAM, while last year's model packed a dual-core 1.4 GHz A8 processor and 1 GB of RAM. While that may sound like another incremental update over their predecessors, the 6s and 6s Plus definitely pack some hot fire. Looking at Geekbench 3, the difference is very clear. Apple's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus take the crown without a doubt, but what's even better than that is the RAM management happening here with the new hardware and iOS 9. Apps that seem to have been open forever ago launched like a boss. As for performance, both will still get the job done, but the 6s and 6s Plus will still take the win in the long run. Both devices are running iOS 9 and come along with the same feature set introduced with that update as well. And if you'd like to check out my top iOS 9 features video, check the link in the description. Don't get me wrong though, if you're sticking with the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, you'll be fine. But I'm definitely a big fan of the performance improvements with the newer models. It's without a doubt a night and day difference in real world use. Aside from performance and specifications, there are some details which reside in the form of hardware enabled software features. And one of the big ones here is the new 3D Touch display. This year Apple has introduced a new 3D Touch feature which will sense the amount of pressure applied to the screen with your finger and trigger various actions. For example, if I 3D touch on certain app icons, a little pop-up menu will appear which I can then slide my finger to the appropriate action and release. It's a pretty neat feature, but for now support is limited. You can 3D touch on a lot of app icons native to iOS such as the Camera app or the Notes app, but very few third-party apps support this out of the box. This is going to be a game-changing feature for sure, but not until it's widely adopted by developers. And if you'd like to check out a full video covering all of the new 3D touch features, check out the video I've linked below in the description. On to camera performance, there's a big difference on paper, but is it really noticeable? Apple's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus feature a new 12 megapixel sensor, which is up from 8 megapixels in the 6 and 6 Plus. Unfortunately, the 6s didn't receive the optical image stabilization treatment, but the 6s Plus is still holding it down strong in that area. The optical image stabilization will definitely help in low light, but cameras on all of these models will still take fantastic photos. Comparing photo samples side by side, to the naked eye there's not much of a difference here. In fact, I'd argue that just looking at the photos on a screen, you'd really need a tuned eye to notice the upgrade in megapixels, but you may not be able to see much of an upgrade if your only goal is to share photos online. Regardless, photos on each device are very crispy and look fantastic, but I'll leave a full gallery linked below so you can take a look for yourself, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section. Can you see the difference? As for video, there's a big leap in resolution here. Apple's iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are capable of shooting up to 4K video at 30 frames per second, which is 4 times the video recording resolution found on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And even though the iPhone 6s lacks optical image stabilization, Apple has included digital stabilization to keep things buttery smooth. There's obviously no competition or comparison necessary in video quality here, but since majority of consumers don't have even a way to view 4K video, it may not be important enough to take advantage of. In that case, 4K video recording can be disabled and downgraded to 1080p within the settings to save you some space. There's also been an improvement in slow-mo video this year. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are capable of shooting up to 120 frames per second video at 1080p and 240 frames per second video at 720p. Another new feature with the camera on both the 6s and 6s Plus is the addition of live photos, and this feature is enabled by default in the Camera app and will automatically capture a second and a half before and after you take a picture and stitch that together in video form with audio. Once a live photo is captured, it can easily be viewed by 3D touching on the original photo, which will proceed to animate that photo. They can also be set as wallpapers, but to be honest, I don't find them very useful. Around the front side on both devices, you'll find an improved 5 megapixel camera with 720p video recording capabilities, which is up from the 1.2 megapixels of previous generations. Apple's new Retina Flash does have a rather stupid name in my opinion, but the functionality is pretty cool. There's a special display chip inside that helps detect the ambient light around you and then matches that tone with a flash of the display that's actually 3 times brighter than usual. But what do you think about this feature? Handy or a gimmick? As you can tell, most of what comes along with the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are simply refinements on last year's lineup. It's likely that you'll be able to live with the previous generation model, but some of the new features introduced may prove to be game changers down the road. I'm a huge fan of the features that come along with 3D touch and the improved camera, but both of those combined might not be good enough of a reason to go out and upgrade. If you can live without those two little features, you likely will benefit from waiting until the iPhone 7 is released. So that about wraps up this comparison video, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a thumbs up, and if you're not already, subscribe for my full review coming up in the near future. Let me know what you think about the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus in the comments section below. Do you think it's worth the upgrade? Thanks again for watching everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.